A rising challenge is upon us. Right now, one of the most significant changes involves our oceans. Sea levels are rising globally, a consequence of a warming world. Ice sheets and glaciers melt, adding water to the seas. Warm water also expands, taking up more space. This phenomenon isn't a distant threat, it's happening now, affecting coastlines around the world. America's coastal cities, especially its wealthiest ones, are on the front line of this watery advance. Many of our nation's most vibrant and economically powerful cities hug the coastline. These are centers of commerce, culture, and innovation, home to millions of people. Unfortunately, their proximity to the ocean now makes them vulnerable. The very waters that once defined their prosperity are becoming a source of peril. Scientists warn that some of these urban marvels are, quite literally, sinking. This isn't science fiction, it's based on careful observation and measurement. When rising seas meet sinking land, the effect is amplified. This dual threat accelerates the encroachment of water into urban areas. We're talking about a future where familiar landscapes could be dramatically altered. The universe is vast, but our habitable land is precious and in some places, shrinking. To understand the future, we must study the present and the past. The Virginia Institute of Marine Science, or VIMS, is doing just that. Their researchers have released crucial reports detailing the threats to our coastal communities. They looked closely at 36 different coastal locations. Their work provides a report card for these areas, showing how sea levels are changing locally. The VIMS methodology is thorough, built on a solid foundation of data. They use information collected over 55 years. A key tool in their research is the tide gauge. These instruments are stationed along coasts, meticulously tracking the height of the ocean. VIMS researchers consider several critical factors. They look at the current rate of sea level rise and analyze its acceleration. The findings from VIMS are a wake-up call. Knowledge is our first line of defense. Let's zoom in on the West Coast. California, the Golden State, faces significant challenges. Its iconic cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego are at risk. Research shows local sea levels are rising. San Diego sees the highest rise at 2.6 millimeters per year. By 2050, major cities will see significant sea level rise. Projections indicate several inches above the global average. The reasons are complex, involving global sea level rise and erosion. A NASA study in 2025 added more detail. Sea levels could rise more than twice as much by 2050. Scientists use satellite data for precise modeling. This allows for a granular understanding of vulnerability. It's not just the coast. Specific communities are at risk. Even a few inches of rise increases flooding frequency. California's coastline faces a profound transformation. The future is arriving, 1 millimeter at a time. The rising waters along California's coast bring with them a tide of economic concerns. The potential financial impact is staggering. The Public Policy Institute of California has studied this issue. They noted that changes in sea levels could lead to an estimated $18 billion worth of buildings being inundated. This figure represents a huge loss of property value. It also means displacement and disruption for those who own or occupy these buildings. Let's look at a specific example. San Francisco. Protecting the Bay Area from higher sea levels by 2050 will be an enormous undertaking. The estimated cost is around $110 billion. This money would be needed for seawalls, levees, and other protective infrastructure. It might also involve elevating roads and buildings. It could mean restoring natural defenses like wetlands. These are massive investments. They will require careful planning and significant public and private funding. The alternative, however, is to face even greater costs from damage and disruption. The choice is between proactive investment and reactive recovery. California is America's most populous state. More than 26 million of its nearly 40 million residents live along the coast. The numbers are large, and the stakes are incredibly high. The Atlantic's advanced East Coast cities facing the surge. The challenge of rising sea levels is not confined to the Pacific. America's East Coast is also experiencing significant changes. Major metropolitan areas like New York and Boston are facing even higher rates of sea level rise than some West Coast cities. Scientists project that cities such as Boston, New York, Baltimore, Charleston, and Savannah could see local sea levels rise by more than a foot by the year 2050. One of the factors contributing to the accelerated rise on the East Coast is the melting of glaciers in the Greenland ice sheet. As this massive body of ice loses mass, it not only adds water to the global ocean but also affects ocean currents and gravitational fields. These changes can lead to regional variations in sea level rise. The east coast of the United States appears to be particularly susceptible to these effects. The science is clear. The processes happening thousands of miles away in the Arctic are having a direct impact on the doorsteps of these American cities. Think about what more than a foot of sea level rise means for these cities. It means that storm surges from hurricanes and nor'easters will be more destructive. The historic character of these cities, often defined by their waterfronts, is under threat. The ocean's relentless advance waits for no one. Gulf Coast's precarious position, a rapidly changing shoreline. The Gulf Coast of the United States presents an even more alarming picture in some areas. Cities in Florida, Texas, and Louisiana could see the ocean's surface rise by more than 18 inches by 2050. This region is already familiar with the power of the sea, particularly during hurricane season. The projected rise in sea level will only exacerbate these existing vulnerabilities. The combination of rising waters and low-lying coastal plains creates a recipe for significant impact. Specific locations highlight the severity of the threat. For instance, Rockport, Texas, is projected to see sea levels rise by an astonishing 2.49 feet by 2050. New Orleans, a city with a long and complex relationship with water, faces a double whammy. Not only are sea levels rising, but the city itself is sinking. The Gulf Coast's future will be defined by how it confronts this rising tide. The human element, displacement, and the search for higher ground. The rising seas and sinking lands are not just an environmental or economic issue. At its heart, this is a human crisis. Projections indicate that over 500,000 U.S. citizens across 32 major cities are expected to be displaced by flooding by the year 2050. Displacement brings with it immense personal hardship. It involves loss of property, disruption of lives, and the severing of social ties. Finding new homes, new jobs, and new communities is a daunting prospect for anyone. The financial burden on individuals and the nation will be enormous. Home property damages alone could cost up to $109 billion by 2050. This figure represents countless personal tragedies and financial setbacks. It also poses a significant challenge to the insurance industry and government disaster relief programs. Planning for such large-scale displacement is a complex and sensitive task. It requires careful consideration of social equity. The human element must be at the forefront of all our planning and policy decisions. The double danger, when land sinks and seas rise. The threat to our coastal cities is often a two-pronged attack. It is not solely about the global average sea level rising, it is also about the ground beneath our feet. In many coastal areas, the land itself is sinking. This phenomenon, known as subsidence, significantly worsens the impact of rising ocean waters. When the land subsides, even a modest rise in sea level can lead to much greater inundation. NASA has been instrumental in mapping this land subsidence. Using advanced satellite technology, they have mapped areas of sinking and uplift in coastal California cities. This research, highlighted by work released around February 2025, provides crucial data. It shows exactly where the ground is losing elevation. This information is vital for accurate flood risk assessment. It helps planners understand which areas are most vulnerable. The causes of subsidence are varied. They can include the natural compaction of sediments, especially in delta regions. Addressing subsidence, where possible, can be one part of a broader strategy to protect our coastal communities from the encroaching tides. Navigating the floodwaters. The urgency of coastal preparedness. The science is increasingly clear. Our coastal cities face a formidable challenge from rising sea levels and sinking land. The projections for 2050 are not distant possibilities. They are foreseeable outcomes based on current trends and scientific understanding. Given this knowledge, the importance of preparing actionable plans for residents and communities cannot be overstated. Molly Mitchell from VMs emphasized this point. She noted that these projections are crucial for allowing coastal residents to make actionable plans and decisions. These actionable plans need to be comprehensive. They must involve a range of strategies. These can include engineering solutions like seawalls, levees, and storm surge barriers. They can also involve nature-based solutions, such as restoring wetlands and mangrove forests that act as natural buffers. Building codes may need to be updated to ensure new construction is more resilient. Zoning laws might need to change to discourage development in high-risk areas. The future of America's coastal cities depends on the actions we take today.